Hello everyone and welcome to Nervous Nessie. It is day 2 of the Orlando Universal Studios trip. I am waiting outside my Airbnb in my full Harry Potter regalia to go to Universal Studios Islands of Adventure. I'm waiting on my Uber to pick me up. It is just a few minutes until 8 o'clock. The park opens at 9, so I'm hoping to get there early, get in line. That way I'm one of the first people in once it opens at 9. They do have an early admission option, but I chose not to do that. By my understanding, it's a little different here at Universal Studios Hollywood. I know you can buy like an additional pass to get in early, but here you have to, I guess, stay at one of their hotels in order to get in early or something like that, or have an annual pass. I didn't do all that, so I'm just gonna try and see everything 1 hour less than those people. But yeah, let's go to Islands of Adventure. So right now I am in the park and it is a little after 4 o'clock. I have not filmed anything so far, really, because it has been an insanely busy day. So, a couple of things. I ended up, okay, let me backtrack all the way to the beginning. So, whenever you arrive at Universal, whether it's Universal Islands of Adventure, City Walk, or Universal Studios, the first thing you have to do is you have to go through bag check. So even if you're just going to City Walk and you're not going in the parks, you still have to go through bag check. Bag check was really quick, super fast. Now, I arrived at about 8 o'clock, a little after 8 o'clock. So got through that really fast. So then after that, you go through the lines for the park tickets. Now, I will say the lines were super fast compared to like Universal Studios Hollywood or other places. I had my tickets on my phone. All I had to do is have my phone open. They scanned it. I went on through. Super fast. Didn't have to worry about like the biometrics of like scanning your thumbprint, which you have to do at Universal Hollywood. So that was really fast. Now, I watched a video on YouTube or Instagram, and this guy, he's an influencer, and he was talking about a little hack that you could do, which is whenever you arrive, hit up Starbucks, go to Starbucks, get a double espresso in a venti cup. So a little bit of coffee, huge cup. Then once you get into the park, you go and get a warm butterbeer and pour it into the cup. And now you have butterbeer coffee. Let me tell you, it was a lot. Like, it was extra. It cost a fortune for everything. Was it worth it? Yep. It was so good to have actual butterbeer coffee. I know there's like a secret recipe with Starbucks. It's not even close to what that is. So I recommend that. Again, now, if you're coming into the parks there for Starbucks, there is a Starbucks in City Walk. Don't go there. Don't go there. The line was out the building. It was insane. Go inside the park and hit up the Starbucks inside the park. There is one in Universal Studios and in Islands of Adventure. Both of them have a Starbucks. I ended up going into the Starbucks in Islands of Adventure. No wait, 0 wait. And so I was able to get through that really fast. Now, I did not get the early admission pass because I'm not staying at one of their hotels. So early admission opens at 8 a.m. Everything else in the park opens at 9 a.m. And so by the time I got my coffee, it was 8:30 on the dot. And I started to go into the park, but then they have it kind of like, they have signs up that it's for early park admission only. So I had to kind of come back out, and then you jump into a line that is along the edge of the water there, and that is the queue for the 9 o'clock opening time. And you want to get there, I would say, get there by 8:30. Don't, like, you might as well either come really late or get there before 8:30, because it gets filled up very fast. Now, by me getting in the line at 8:30, I was in the shade the whole time, which was fantastic. Even though it's early in the morning, it was already hot. So I was in the shade the whole time, but like within 5 minutes, there's like 100 people in line. It was crazy. I will say that they ended up opening it early. It was like at 8:52, 53. They actually opened the line to let everybody in. I made a beeline straight into the park to get my warm butterbeer. And then I started to get in line for the Hagrid's Magical Creatures roller coaster. Okay, let me tell you. On my phone, there, and of course, when you get here, you want to get the app, the Universal Studios app. On my phone, it said the wait time for Hagrid's was 4 hours. 4 hours long. Now, I was thinking common sense is going to tell you that there's not enough people in the park at that point trying to ride that one ride to validate why it would be a 4-hour wait. So I figured it was probably them trying to scare people off so that it doesn't get too terribly long. And so I went ahead and jumped in line. Now, I got into the single rider line, and when I started to get in, I always ask to make sure, because the last thing I want to do is get in the wrong line. So I asked, is this the single rider line, and is it open? And she said yes. She said yes, it's the single rider line. If it's open, you'll find out up ahead. It's like, okay. So get in line. I'm bypassing all these people, just tons of people that I'm bypassing. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm in the single rider line. This is great. And then it stops, and I am stuck in the longest line. Now, I made friends, temporary friends, with the people in front of me and the people behind me. We were all just chit-chatting, because what else are you gonna do while you're in line? And so we're in line, and I noticed there was a split in the sidewalk. So like one part was blocked off and there's nobody in that line, and then there's our line, which took forever. It winds around, goes up and down, and as it came back, they were opening the other line. And I thought, okay, well, what is that? Maybe it's the express pass and lets everybody, lets them bypass everybody. No, that was the single rider line. So you have to be careful, because yes, I thought I was in the single rider line, but I wasn't. It was actually blocked off, and I don't know who the people were I was bypassing, but I ended up jumping over into the single rider line, because technically that's where I was supposed to be. I will say it seemed like it cut down on the amount of time that I had to wait. Now, from beginning to end, getting all the way through, including that single rider line and the longer part, instead of it being 4 hours, it was an hour and a half. Not bad. Is it worth it? Yeah. Even if you're not a Harry Potter fan, that roller coaster is sick. It is so cool. It goes to the point you feel like you're about to turn upside down, but it's right there on the cusp to where you don't. It's a really cool roller coaster. And then if you're a Harry Potter fan, it's really worth it. It's just so cool to be able to ride the ride. Once I got off of Hagrid's ride, now the rest of Hogsmeade I had already seen before at Universal Studios in Hollywood. And backtrack a little bit. In order to ride Hagrid's, you have to put all your stuff in a locker. The locker situation here is a giant pain. They should do away with it, or at least make it completely free. Now, at Universal in Hollywood, it's like $5 for the paid lockers. Here, it's $3, so at least it's a little cheaper. They do have free lockers, but I have my backpack. I attempted it. It will not go in there. Even if I take everything out and try to cram it in that way, it won't go in there. So I had no choice. I had to pay for a locker. But my backpack fit, but barely. So if you have a like full backpack, which mine is not, you may not get to ride the rides. I do know that there is a generic locker toward the beginning of the park, and it's $20 for the entire day. You can put your backpack in there and leave it all day long, and you know, just keep coming back to it. If you think you're gonna be riding a bunch of rides, or your backpack is just ginormous, that might be the best bet for you, but it sucks having to go all the way back to the beginning of the park to get your bag, or get into your bag. So when you try to do Hagrid's ride, here's another tip for you. When you try to do Hagrid's ride, there are lockers right outside there. Not many. They get filled up super fast. It's very crowded. My suggestion is to do what I ended up eventually doing. I ended up going over to the castle, the Forbidden Journey ride, and there's a bunch more lockers over there. I mean, there was literally nobody around, and all the lockers were free, or they were open, you know, not free. They were open to be able to put your stuff in there. And so put your stuff in those lockers, then come around and get on Hagrid's ride. After I went to Hagrid's motorbike ride, I noticed that King's Cross station was open, and the train could take me over to Universal Studios. I wanted to keep an eye on that because a lot of times it ends up closed, like you can't ride the ride. And I have heard that it's best to ride it twice, once going from Islands of Adventure to Universal, and then one going Universal to Islands of Adventure, because it's two totally different experiences. And for some reason the train closes a lot and it's just not running. So I wanted to take advantage of, you know, okay, it is running. It only had a 30-minute wait time, wasn't too bad. So I rode the train over. Really cool. Once I got over here, I was expecting to turn around and go back. Nope. Hour wait time to go back the other way. So I was like, well, let me, while I'm here in, you know, Diagon Alley, I'll explore Diagon Alley. So went through there, explored all of that. So as you can see, there is Grimald Place, and then comes down through here. You have King's Cross Station down at the end, and you're thinking, okay, maybe this is the end of Harry Potter. Where is it at? And like magic, it is hidden, so you have to come through here. And now you're in Diagon Alley. So if you come to the back of the night bus, you can actually get on the night bus itself. I will swing the camera around here. So basically there is a little step up, and then there is a kind of a cage here. Obviously you can't go upstairs, you can't actually get on, but you can get pictures. You want to try and square up your camera inside the cage there and get your pictures there, and then you can see the shrunken head up ahead that you can talk to, and the conductor is also outside. And I'm going to walk around to the front So you can see that. You do have the fountain here. And then right over here is the exchange our muscle money. Putting off eating until a non-peak time for lunch. I thought, okay, most people go to lunch 12, maybe 1 o'clock. I was putting it off. 2:30 rolls around and I'm starving. I'm starting to get hangry. It's hot. I hadn't ate a single thing and I was needing food big time. Well, I went to the Leaky Cauldron, which was the restaurant inside, and their food is not necessarily my cup of tea. The only thing I would have got there would have been the fish and chips, which is the same thing they have at the Three Broomsticks, which I've ate before. So I was like, well, let me see what else there is to eat in the park. That turned into an adventure in and of itself. Apparently, everyone here decided to wait until 2:30 to eat. Every restaurant had an hour wait time. And there are kiosks around the park where you can buy things like hot dogs and stuff. Every one of them was out of food. The only food available was a turkey leg. I was not gonna eat a whole turkey leg. So I ended up, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get something to drink because I was really thirsty. Got a drink, and then I was like, I'm gonna get on the Gringotts ride. The wait time was 90 minutes, and I brought Pop-Tarts. I had a Pop-Tart in my bag, so while I was standing in line, I ate a Pop-Tart. I did the single rider line again. So far with those two rides, I would say whatever time is posted for the ride, cut that time in half, and that's about how much you're gonna spend on the single rider line. So it said 90 minutes was the wait time. It took me 45 to get through the single rider line. Not terrible. But yeah, I did everything Harry Potter for both two parks today. I wasn't intending on doing that. I was intending on staying fully in one park and then doing the train ride over. But I guess, you know, fly by the seat of my pants on this trip. But now at least all the Harry Potter stuff is done, which as a Harry Potter fan was my priority. It now is 4:30. The park closes at 7, so I have 2.5 hours. I am now in Universal Studios, so I'm gonna see if I can't maybe pick a ride or two over here and try and get those knocked out before the park closes. Keep in mind, I still have 2 more days between these two parks. I can park hop both days and go back and forth and pick up all the rides that I miss from day to day. So I'm gonna try and see if I can't squeeze in at least one, if not two rides while I'm here in this park before I leave.